very happy to have the mayors here. We have 6, but we now have 4. 2 more will be, hopefully we'll be able to expand this. If the World Bank will give us more money, we'll expand it to the whole country. So, I think what I would like to say is for us to understand clearly what is really the impact of PAPs to us. Why are we so concerned with PAPs? This is not PAPs Bernardes, this is not lollipops, this is PAPs. This is persistent organic pollutants. And the name itself, it is persistent. It is persistent organic pollutants. The Philippines is very much involved in this. As early as 1995, 94, if you trace the roadmap of the what you call the Stockholm Convention, which is the UN Convention for Persistent Organics, if you trace the roadmap there, you will see that the first governmental meeting toward a globally binding instrument, which is Stockholm, was done here in Manila. We were the host of the first governmental meeting towards a globally binding instrument. It was sponsored at the time by Canada on the north. It was a north-south alliance sponsored by Canada and the Philippines. And we had several meetings in Canada, but the first governmental was held here in Manila. So what was the output? The output was a document that became the first document that ended up, I think, 12 years later as the now called the Stockholm Convention. The Stockholm Convention initially approved, I think, they call it the dirty dozen, the first 12 PAPs, the persistent organic chemicals. And after that, we also passed a law, the Clean Air Act of 1999, which already identified the dirty dozen also. What are these? Out of the 12, there are 9 agricultural chemicals, and there are 3 industrial chemicals. These are the dioxin, furan, and the one shown ago, the polynated PCB, polychlorinated biphenyls, which is the most available all over the country and over the world. I think Japan has the most number of stored waste of this, because this is the, just for your own information, this is the, we call it the liquid conductor. This is the chemical that you can find in the transformer of most power plants, the transmission line, and so on. That transformer, the one inside that is PCB, polychlorinated biphenyls. And there were studies at the time which says there were, I think this was an American documentary, which says that children of 12 years old to 15 years old playing basketball under a leaking transformer, they were saying these kids will not go beyond 50 years. That's how polluted the PCB is. It is carcinogenic, it destroys the immune system, it destroys the, it can even cause cataract, and it destroys the human immune. And the last finding, when I was in Canada discussing this, is that it can even cause mutation. It can cause mutation. At the time when the Canada invested so much in this study through the what you call UNECE, United Nations European Commission for Environment, I think. This is the countries around the circumpolar region, that Arctic Ocean, the countries around Greenland, Canada, Newfoundland, that part of Canada is Newfoundland, Iceland, and so on. These are the countries hardly hit by PAPs. Why? Let me now explain to you why these countries are so concerned about persistent organics. Persistent organics can be found in, I said, 12 chemicals. 9 agricultural, used to be, DDT before, but for a while it was allowed by UN to be used even after it was banned for agriculture, because it was also considered as a vector chemical, not only as an agricultural chemical, but also as a vector chemical, because that is the only chemical that you can use used to address malaria, for malaria control. But there are others, the dildrin, indrin, and I think in the later part, they even included the indosulfan. Remember this indosulfan? That is the only chemical that you can use to cure the pink disease of pineapple. And this chemical was very famous during the sinking of the ship in Romblon, because that ship contained several tons of indosulfan bound for Bukidnon, imported from Israel. So I think they have expanded the list to include that. The issue for PAP is that it has three major characteristics. One, it is persistent. It does not biodegrade. Once you use it, it is there for centuries. So it is called the pollutants of the future. Second, since it is persistent, it is also highly volatile. Meaning, once you spray it in the crops, in the farmland, when it's warm, it flies. It is highly volatile. When it's summer, it flies. And since it flies, it has a capacity, and it is persistent, it has a capacity for long-range transport. So when we trace it in the globe, the one we use in the Philippines, we trace it, it is moving toward the circumpolar region of the globe. It is moving toward that area. And that was the reason why they banned these chemicals 20, 25 years ago. They stopped producing it. But the problem is the remaining inventory, they try to sell it to us. Sold it to China, Thailand, Philippines. We continue using it. But because of natural movement, it went back to them. I said that's poetic justice. So the problem is, it is highly volatile, but during winter, since it is not warm, it doesn't move. But it has a density higher than water. Therefore, when it went to the river, it went to the bigger river. We traced it, we tested the Grand Baleine of Canada. It's all substantial deposit of persistent organics at the bottom of Grand Baleine of Canada. And when they open the stomach of salmon, the crocodile and Grand Baleine, they can see traces of PCB. They were so worried, why do we have PCB here when we have not been using it for decades? So we traced it, that's the one. So in effect, the effect to us is what we call direct exposure. The farmer, once you use it, you are exposed to it. But after that, it goes back to them. Okay, what is the last characteristic? The last characteristic, it bioaccumulates. That's why Canadians and other countries around the circumpolar area, they're so worried because when they trace it, it's now coming out of the mother's milk. It's coming out of the mother's milk. So meaning, if you continue eating salmon, natural salmon, not the cultured salmon in Canada, which they harvest from the wild, there is a possibility that you are eating salmon with PCB or PAPs in the salmon. It stays with you. And when they trace it, it's coming out of the mother's milk. And if you give it to the child, it's now to if the child will do breastfeeding, it's the next generation contamination. And they said, one of the latest findings that they, at the time when they found out, it is causing mutation. They studied the crocodile in Grand Baleine, it's causing mutation. For almost a decade of study, they found out that sorry for the ladies, the penis, the penile size of the crocodile is becoming smaller and smaller. The penis of the crocodile, because of the PCB. So I said, that is the reason why the Canadians